Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's been doing well. Been a while since the video. Last message, this one, my number 1378, came across 5 different days through the month, starting January 31st, and also February 4th, 6th, 11th, and 14th. Then the next one came right after this one ended on Valentine's Day. So that one I will post the next posting. First part, and at least part of this was delivered. Messenger was Marcus Antilius Posada. That's the name I came across. There was a Marcus, assuming it's the same one, or Marcus, who I knew in a previous life long ago, who fought beside each other against Romans long time ago. We have Roman names, so we turned against them, from what I know. The first part, I don't think was from him. He was, like I said, he spoke some part later on in. It's directly from him, and the rest is he's just delivering the message. Precious, precious though thy be, still thy eyes cannot see. Until thy purge thy inner being, clearer view thou'lt not be seen. Children, O children, if you but saw the truest cause of God's law, the flows of love poured out upon thee, and all he gave unto you for free. So precious, precious though we may all be to God, mankind still, the eyes cannot see the truth of God, God's truth, and all that's going on. Until we purge ourselves, until I purge thy inner being, until we purge yourself of what's inside, that's locked inside, grief, pain, guilt, shame, lust, desires of the flesh, which means of this world. Anything that blocks that flow of God's graces from him through you outward, until you purge yourself of that inner being, that dam, that spiritual, emotional dam, will not gain a clearer view, will not see and understand. I can share all that stuff with people, but they won't let go of stuff, and their focus is still on the outside. And I come across this all the time. People share parts of messages, things I've learned with, and it goes in one ear and out the other. I can tell it. Just looking at their faces, it's gone. Because their stuff interferes, their beliefs, what they've taught, the falseness they were taught, the half-truths they were taught, experiences, things locked up inside, prevents them from seeing. That's with anything learning. You're in school, any of that type of stuff blocks your learning what you're being taught. And that's on you. That's on me. That's on all of us. Well, they said early on, when I started getting this message, first things they said, I've said this numerous times. First, you must unlearn all that you've learned so you can begin to learn what you need to learn. So you have to basically wipe your slate clean. It's part of why Jesus came, and wipe the slate clean, not of our sins, but of all the lies, deception, or what we've learned up to that point. So they can begin to relearn, to learn the correct way. Children, oh children, if you but saw the truest cause of God's law, not the cause of what caused it to come about, but the cause, the why of it. The flows of love poured out upon thee from him, and all that he gave unto us for free. There's no reason to seek anything else. He gave it all we need for free, for our happiness. Next section, also short. Per the course of human endeavor, evil has gotten all the more clever, plying its trade of ill-gotten gain, inflicting the world with all kinds of pain. No more truth than can be given by God above, only spirit-driven. See the sides line up along, border of life and heavenly song. So for the course of human endeavor, through all mankind's existence and things he's attempted to do, evil has gotten all the more clever, gotten better at deception, lies, leading you astray, mankind astray, clouding our vision. plying its trade of ill-gotten gain, all the things it's gotten and power it's gotten, and things it's learned, ways to deceive mankind, lead us astray. It's gotten all ill-gotten through doing evil, thus inflicting the world with all kinds of pain. Not from God, it comes from evil. No more truth than can be given. There's no more truth. The only truth that can be given that comes from God above. It only comes spirit-driven, through the Spirit. Psalm 19, 1-4. See the sides, good and evil, line up along the border of life in Heavenly Song. So see the sides line up along good and evil, along the border of physical and the spiritual, soon to overflow into the real physical scene world. Next section, 1-6. A little bit longer. The longest section. I don't know if this part where he's speaking directly to me. Let's see. Burden to burden, some come and go. Most were aware, some do not know. So from burden to burden that we deal with in life, some come, we hang on to it, some are gone. Some of these burdens stay with us, some of them go. Some we hang on to, some we let go. Most we're aware, some do not know. So most we're aware of the burden, some we don't realize the burden. Release thyself to cosmic flow, path unto heaven, freedom will show. That's like most we are, speaking of them, messengers, so most that they're aware of our burdens. Some they do not know, because they're not constantly watching each individual. We have certain beloved ones, guardian angels, and so forth that are watching over each of us. So speakers are not aware of each individual's burdens. So they go on to say, release thyself to the cosmic flow, which is God's grace from Him through us outward is how it's supposed to be, without these burdens, without this blockage. Then the path into heaven, freedom, will show. They'll show it to us that we're free. How wonderful that is, and the happiness, that joy you feel. It doesn't come from external, it comes from internal, from God. Healing graces then the healing grace is beyond all recall. Nothing to bear once beyond the pall. So healing graces beyond all recall, beyond all recollection, all these healing graces, limitless, boundless. Then we will have nothing to bear once we're beyond the pall, once we enter into heaven. No more burdens. Journey to journey, stumbling to fall. And from journey to journey throughout your life, stumbling to fall on your face. Father to uplift. Once hear the call or answer the call. Once you hear his call and answer the call, he will lift you up. If you don't want nothing to do with him, ain't happening. Joy unbeholden, all comes for free. So it's for free. You don't owe anything for it. Joy from God is unbeholden. You don't owe it. But all comes for free. All that joy, all that I am, 'tis given to thee for free. All that I ask, but bend thy knee. All that he asks, all that you ask him, just bend your knee. Talk to him. Believe in him. Love him. Respect him. Honor him. That's what you can do for him each day. And soar unto heaven, for believest in me. Jesus said, those who believe in me shall never die. Those who die, if they believe, even though they were dead, yet shall they live if they believe in him. So speaking of those before his arrival. See unto things long forgotten. Which believes in him, you will see unto things long forgotten from the past. Long ago, before all was rotten in the world. So you'll begin to learn things from the past, which I have. It's not my past, but mankind's past. Mankind has lost much was begotten. So mankind has lost much that was given to us. The ancient history, things like archaeology, anthropology major, archaeology. I mean, it's what we know, what we've learned, continue to learn, pushes back the history, known history of mankind. And that's just infinitesimal to the truth. It's all been hidden from us. Mankind has lost much was begotten, sought instead all they bought then. So much was begotten, we lost it, it was taken from us. Because we sought, just like the garden was taken from us, because instead we were seeking all that we bought. When everything's free. Sought instead all they bought, then fell from the grace given at the start. Garden of Eden, and since then, every single time. Fell from the grace given at the start. Then conceived unto womb to each play a past. So then, conception was unneeded, came the fact that from conception unto the womb, soul started to flow. We created each to play a part. If they chose to play that part, free will's throughout. It's like gravity in the physical. Free will is gravity is to the physical as free will is to the spiritual. It's everywhere. God will not make you make a choice. Devil cannot make you make a choice. All free will. You choose. So he fell from the grace given at the start, conceived unto womb to each play a part, burdened by all kept within heart. And God foresaw this. So he made all those souls beforehand because he knew what mankind, right from the start, was going to do. Nothing was ever hidden. He's prescient. And from that time also, we were burdened by all kept within the heart. So everything we kept inside, we would be burdened by. And it would block that flow. Now, late in life, in your life, or mankind's life, now late in life, need pull a cart. We need to pull a cart because we have so many burdens. We can't even keep them inside. We can't keep them on our back. We need a cart to pull them. Mankind in general, because we can't let them go. Whether it's physical stuff, emotional stuff, just can't let it go. So we need a cart to pull it. It's like people have stuff loaded like around here. They park tens of thousands of dollars of vehicles in the driveway so they can keep junk worth far less in their garages or in storage units. Pulling a cart of physical things. So this is Marcus speaking directly to me here. I fought beside thee, of this be thee sure, when thy heart was not so pure. Side by side many hardships we'd endure, never realizing the light was the cure. So he's telling us, speaking to me, telling me how he fought beside me. Be sure of it, believe it, which I do. My heart was not so pure. Side by side many hardships together we'd endure, never realizing the light was the cure to all things. For all 'tis forgotten by he who created. All that there is continues unabated. For all it is forgotten by God. He said, I'll remember those sins no more. For all that there is, you gotta let them go. That's why 3 times a day you offer up that guilt and sin, your burdens. As soon as you do or think or feel something that's not concordant with him, immediately offer it up to him. Say, I don't want it, Lord, take it. So it doesn't become a burden. And he takes it from you. Transforms it into good, negative energy, transforms it into good energy, and it's forgotten. All is forgotten by he who created. All that there is continues unabated. So all that there is, all that's going on, is continuing unabated. God's not going to stop it. It's too late. Mankind has blown limitless chances to straighten his crap, getting his shit together. Hasn't happened. Out of time. Out of time, just like before the Great Flood. Too late. Done. Wiping the earth. That's what's going to happen. That's what's happening again. We're in the process of that. Just the very, very beginning. Mankind, to this day, is never sated, never satisfied, never has enough. They want more and more. They lust for all things, long predated. The lust for all things of mankind has long predated today. Then he asked, do you recall the price we did pay upon the field that fateful day? So he's referencing a specific day of battle, when all we fought for, fields of clay, are gone, as all things soon fade away. Mankind fights for land, fights for power, fights for possessions. When it all goes away, even you go away. Nothing lasts of this physical world. All goes away. All the stuff that people fight for and lust for, they ain't gonna do nothing with it. You can't buy the way into heaven. You can't spend all the money in the world to stay here. The time is up. The time is up. Foolishness. Chasing after the wind. Ecclesiastes. Peace of Christ upon you all, who through time have heeded the call, heard the voices ring from the hall in heaven of the hall of angelic messengers, large and small. So peace of Christ unto everybody who throughout time have heard the call, have answered the call. They have heard the voices spoken from angelic messengers, all kinds, and listened to them. Precursors to men, these angelic messengers, are precursors to men long before Earth, before even universe had given birth. So these angelic messengers, angels, are precursors to man, precursors to Earth being created before even the universe had given birth to all the stars. These angels existed. Before even the universe had given birth to all the stars of varying worth. We're all created from stardust. Even physicists will tell you that. We're all created from stardust. Everything's from stardust. So we're from stars. You're created from stars. They all have varying worth, these stars. And God filled the void. Limitless mirth. That's how initially created. Beyond the scope of imagination, or beyond, this split says two different meanings. Let me do one meaning. Beyond the scope of human imagination lie many a world of new creation. There's many more worlds out there. Stolid in faith, leaders of a nation, powers they hold soon suffer deflation. They'll be lessened, taken from all countries. All nations will fall. All leaders will fall. Not just political leaders, financial leaders, spiritual leaders. Powers they hold soon suffer deflation. And the alternate lines there are, beyond the scope of human imaginings lie many a world of new beginnings. Interesting. Stolid in faith, leaders counting their winnings, powers they hold soon fat for the thinnings. So their powers that they hold will be soon thinned out, taken away from them. Many more vagaries or unexpected events, unknown events, soon to view. All that I give for you to do. All the souls sent for your help to renew, speaking to me, souls I've yet to send, all and the tasks that are given to me to do yet, all the souls that are sent for me to help renew them, to get them to light, come together at various locations. They of all manner of stations in life. Some are of those whose relations have already processed to heavenly elations. So it'll be cool. And those who already processed can then turn and help them. Despite all their wealth, none didst remain. Can't. Everybody leaves this world. Failed to let go, nor didst refrain. In other words, they failed to let go, or did they refrain? Did they repent? So what I said, the four things need to cross over in the light. Believe, forgive, repentant, refrain, and let go. So they failed at two of those things. Or didst refrain from that which brought them such pain. It's like an addiction. Seek more and more of that which internally is causing them pain. trying to fill. It's an insatiable hunger. It's like eating sugar. It just never satisfies but for a brief instant. But what you see, he did not ordain. But what we see, what's going on with all these wealthy and these famous and he didn't ordain that. They sought their own path, and it's an empty, unfulfilling path. Next section is short. Perplexed beyond all reasoning. This has multiple line meaning. Perplexed beyond all reasoning, one first needs right seasoning. You have to have the right seasoning, right flavoring, the right seeding, right belief, perspective. So perplexed beyond all reasoning, one first needs right seasoning. To become one with the Father, one needs to not feel a bother. So you don't want to feel like a burden to God, because you're not. Well, he loves you nonetheless. All coming to him in perfection. No need to ever confess. For all thy burdens, his detection. It's like with the Catholic Church. It's like they want you to confession. You don't need to confess to a human being. God already knows everything you're going to think, do, say, or feel before it comes about. So he already knows it. Just immediately offer it up to him. Ask him for his forgiveness, which he's already given. Thank you for him. Thank you for that. And offer it up to him. Don't keep it as a burden. The alternate reading of that section. Perplexed beyond all reasoning, one first needs right seasoning. Become one with the Father, one needs not to ever bother. Or one needs not to ever bother. To seek the road garners less. So this second meaning, to become one with the Father, one needs to not ever bother. In other words, do not ever seek the road that garners less. You get less spiritual growth from, less meaningful, less result from. No matter what thy direction, no need to ever confess for all thy burdens, his detection. So don't take the road, the path of your own choosing, of your own desire. Choose the path that he created for you, which will be far easier and more fulfilling. You're going to get to the same point, the end of your road, your journey at the same time. Why make it harder? All the people out there, oh, they're so happy. And why do they need to take drugs? Why do they need to get drunk all the time? Why do they have to numb themselves all the time? Why do they have to sleep around? Why do they have to go from one person to the next? Because they're unsatisfied. They're unhappy deep down at the soul level. Well, they got a big house. They got all fancy, having a good grand old time. It all fades. And then they're miserable. Psalm 49. Read it. Understand it. Next section, the last section, speaks of the arrival of the last of the four horsemen. I mean, they've all four been here, but the last announcement, each time before they manifested in the physical world, I've given a name. So I was given Tathiel, which was death, and Versailles, conquest, first. I mean, plague, pestilence first. And boom. Then the month, COVID hit, and lots of death. And I was shortly told it's not what it used to be. Then the mutation started. I was told plague from the past be brought to us. Still waiting on that one. Some of these things I'm given happen right away or soon after. Some are down the road a little bit. Like my sister. She was told in 2015 that, or 14, that her life would change on a dime. It was until this past year that happened. So some things take a while. Then I was given the name of Conquest, Luthiel, who's fought by my side in previous lives. But given his name, boom, Afghanistan, conquered, faster than anybody could ever thought possible. And that was just the first one. There'll be more as they all start to manifest together. Once war was named himself, what his name was given to me. That was just happens in this message. So war is coming, and they'll all join together, all be connected to each other. And it all comes with war. With war comes pestilence, or the plague. Initially, pestilence/plague is known by two different things. Plague was more prevalent. Plague part of him, aspect of him, is sometimes be more pestilence, because it goes with war, and conquest comes with war, and death comes with war. So war is the last one we've been waiting for. And it goes on to say, he comes, angel of death, which is in Thatfield, who's been here, cometh unto man at his God's behest. He sent him here. Now, this time beyond all pestilence. Now, this time, be beyond all pestilence and plague. We've witnessed thus far more than that. Beyond all, now this time beyond pestilence and plague. Beyond that, which you've already witnessed and been enduring. 'Tis war, his brother, his time to wage. So the pestilence and the plague, the death, the conquest are going to increase along with the war. When? I don't know. We look at the news today, oh yeah, it's about to happen. Not necessarily. It's going to happen in Ukraine. Not necessarily. Now you think about it, being American, I'm just speaking from an American perspective. If I was somebody like our enemies who wanted to affect us, best way to do it would first seed dissension within each country. And you see that's been going on. Anti-maxers, anti-vaxxers, right wings, extremists, left wings, it's all kinds of dissension. The borders open and porous, and again, not just this country, other countries, not Russia or China, not Iran and North Korea. So if I was them, and I'm not speaking, I was told this, if I was them, and they were in league with each other, China wants Taiwan, attack Taiwan. Russia wants things back the way they were, going to Ukraine. North Korea wants South Korea. Japan, the United States. And Iran hates Israel and other parts of the Middle East. So if they all make their moves, that's a forefront war. They would presume, or evil presume, that, hey, how could the U.S. and their allies fight a forefront war? How could we fight a forefront war? Well, they look at allies, they look at us. How could we fight a forefront war? They would think that we can't do it. And then plus, I would have the terrorists start to cause problems within each country and increase the dissension of the extremist groups inside the country and the infiltration of enemies inside each country. That's how I would wage that war against the United States and its allies. But we'll see if that's how it happens. We'll do it all at the same time. So if one does it, don't be surprised if another one does it. So it's going to be interesting. This is why these words, these messages, are so important to pay attention to and heed and be ready. Don't panic. As I said, you believe, have faith, and I'll reiterate that, you're going to be okay. His war, his brother, his time to wage. Eleuthio, which was conquest, brethren of many a war. These are brethren of many a war, previous lives with me. All those times and lives before, as it confirms again, shall too ply his trade. Conquest of lands God made. Everything belongs to God. So the conquest of lands that God made. It's all his. Mankind doesn't own any of it. Bezial, or Bezial, Bezial, his name, which is war, all await. His name all await to exact upon man certain date. Only God knows that time. War of wars, none can't contain. The war of wars, no one can stop it. It's too late. Sufferings without number, limitless pain. I've been warning about this. Too many times man has not sought God, their Father, and he soon forgot. So too many times man has not sought God, who's their Father, they soon forgot him. Fewer and fewer people in the world believe or to speak to him, have a relationship with him. Errors in judgment. All these have been, mankind's made, errors in judgment, choices ill made. Warriors of man soon invade. Little they know, little they see, not but a trifle to come from me. So little these warriors know, little that they see, realize that all they do and all that's going to happen is just but a trifle, just a small little, it's nothing but a trifle, a little sprinkle, a little trickle that's to come from God. It's far more, you can't even fathom it. Peace be unto you. You think God cannot destroy an entire continent, flood an entire world, create the entire universe? What's mankind's war? Nothing. God's going to do far worse. Let's say that, and they're not telling us to get freaked out. Hey, pay attention. If you haven't believed, now's the time to believe and keep faith. They go on to say, peace unto you, faithful of heart. Souls of thee shall be kept apart from what's going to happen. Trust in they of whom I sent, me and others, spiritual and physical form, long ago from my sacred tent. I was one of the first ones to come out. That's not promote myself. People come unto me. I'm not going after people. Who he sends to me. Again, I've never made money off of God. I'm not here for that. I'm nobody. I'm just a simple servant. All these leaders, your political, you think you're really bad. Your political leaders, your financial leaders, your spiritual leaders. They're going to fall by the wayside. They're out for themselves. They're going to go protect themselves. They're not going to lead you. You think the Pope is going to lead you? You think the priests and the preachers and the evangelists and the Trumps and the Bidens and the Putins and all the people, they're not going to lead. They're going to seek to save themselves. And they're going to suffer for it. So follow those. Seek those who are most humble and simple and all dressed up in finery, buying expensive clothes, fancy clothes, fancy cars, and expensive mansions, and so on and so forth. That's not who you want to follow. That is not who you want to follow. Trust in they of whom I sent long ago from my sacred tent. Journey unfolds, of this be sure. End is in sight, so ever pure for those who trust and have keep the faith. And for me and those like me. Patience 'tis needed, now of most import. So more than anything, more than any other time, patience is needed. Angels of mine, light shall escort. Angels of him, of God, the light shall escort you if you focus on him, remain humble, and believe. Be thee ready, be thee still. You all must choose your own free will of who to follow, where you want to go. Just like he did with Lot. Go to the mountains. He's been saying these years of getting expensive. Go to the mountains. Don't go to the cities. That's not, people tend to go to where there's lots of people, and that's going to be the least safe place. Told Lot didn't go to the mountains. What did Lot do? When he's told what to do and what was going to happen, he started to barter with God. Okay, if I can find one person, if I can find 25 people, 50 people, whatever, would you save this? He says, yeah, sure. If I can find 10, would you save this? If I can save one, would you? He was bartering with God. And then he finally left. Still told go to the mountains. He bartered for that too. He still didn't go to the mountains. He went to his brother in another city. For that. He's in hell now. Waiting to be rescued. You all must choose your own free will. Nothing of mine, nothing of God's, 'tis ever withheld, if you seek your soul to meld with him. For with those of light I did send, wounds of life they shall mend. With those of light, meld with those of the light, with God, who he did send, then your wounds of life, they shall mend. Go into life, now rest secure. Your end to come post-final war. He of messages, often sent, which is me, often sent into this world, he of messages often sent, darkness around, he'll or I'll be able to circumvent. Trust and follow, heed the words that I continue to share that given to me. Safe thou be post final thirds, which is at the end. Safe you'll be in heaven. I'm not asking you to follow me. I'm not telling you that's your choice. Somebody like me, some other part of the world, that is your choice. It doesn't affect me, my outcome. That's on you. That's on each individual person, as they've stated. So that's the meaning of that one. A long message. Hope it gives some meaning to you. Hope some understanding to you. Hope you watch this video for explanation of it. And hope you watch all the videos for explanation, because they're told to give them to help you. So, peace of Christ. God bless.